Hey folks, Nick here from Another BookTube channel. Today, talking about my reading goals for 2024. I'm going to have separate videos where I kind of recap my favorite books of the year, my disappointing books of the year, as well as a complete ranking of every single book that I read. But I wanted to do this as a separate video, talking a little bit about what I would like to do and accomplish in 2024 as a reader, because there are some things that I kind of started this year that I didn't put as much effort into as I should have to finish. So I have some certain things in mind that I really want to finish next year, and some things I want to revisit as well. So I just thought I would take you through the five initial goals that I'm keeping in mind right now for myself for next year. Uh, I am a fickle creature, though, so I mean, who knows if I'm actually going to stick to these, but as of right now, as of this recording, this is what I would like to accomplish. And it's going to be a mixture of prose and comic goals. The first one will be prose, and it is to finish the Expanse series. I am currently 4 books into the Expanse, and I absolutely love it. I've loved each book. I think that they are just phenomenal, fun, political space operas that are just full of very interesting, well thought out characters in really creative situations. And it never feels like it's trying to belabor a point, even though it very much has things to say. The messaging is always like really strong. Like, there's always good themes in an Expanse book, and it's anchored by these very likable characters. For the most part, likable. Like, our protagonists are likable. I really love the Rocinante crew, Holden and Naomi and Alex and Amos. Amos, I love Amos. And I love just their loyalty to each other and the way that they just know what the other one is thinking. Like, they all have distinct personalities, but they're able to just completely mesh. They understand, okay, if this happens, that means this person is going to be really upset, or like they know instinctively how each other are going to react to something. And I love a team dynamic like that in a book. It's really fun to read, and I love that. I just love to watch them solve problems and figure things out. It's super fun. It's so fun. There are 5 books left in the series that I have to read. This is book 6. I need to get a copy of book 5 before I can continue. And there's also novellas, which I have to figure out how to get those too, because those are also important to the continuity. Anyway, but so that's 5 full-size novels. I don't think, though, it'll be a huge problem because these are so fun to read. I usually get through them pretty quickly in under a week. The previous 4 I was able to read in under a week. So really excited about that goal. That, maybe more than anything else on this list, that is something that I absolutely, really, definitely am going to aim for. I'm going to try to do it in the first half of 2024. Just like get it out of the way, just boom, 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 finish up the Expanse. The next thing I want to do is a big comic endeavor. It is to reread the Sandman comics by Neil Gaiman. It has been forever since I've read Sandman from end to end. I think it ran for 75 issues, and then came back for an overture that ran, I think, for 5 or 6 issues. But yeah, it's been forever. I've picked up individual comics from the run since then and just read them for nostalgia's sake. But reading it end to end, haven't done it in a really long time. And there's a lot that I've forgotten, especially from the back half of the run. And when the Netflix show came out this last year, I think it was 2022. I don't know. It put me completely like in the mood for it again, and I never got around to it because I was really deep into doing the Swamp Thing reread this year. And now that that's kind of wrapping up, although we'll get to that shortly, I think the next big run I want to revisit is Sandman. It's one of if Alan Moore's Swamp Thing is my favorite comic run of all time, Neil Gaiman's Sandman is like right there. Like it's a dead heat. Okay, the next goal that I have in mind, if you are following this channel closely, may have seen that I bought a stack of 22 Buffy the Vampire Slayer novels this year, a couple months ago. It was a bit of a whim, and I didn't make as much progress on the stack as I wanted to by year's end. I have 19 books left in that run, and there are more Buffy books. I only bought like half of the ones that exist. I bought like the earliest ones, so I need to finish these books. I need to finish the Buffy books that I have. So that's going to also be my goal for 2024. This is the next one up for me. It's called Blooded by Christopher Golden and Nancy Holder. Uh, and I'm really hoping that as I'm going along in the series, it just continues to improve in quality. Like the first few books were, more so young adult aimed. And I think the majority of the rest of the ones that I have on my shelf, like the 19 that are left, except for this one, are not young adult. Like they're just like regular like books, like mature novels. And I'm also hoping that they improve the quality because as the books are going on, the show has also been out for longer. So like these early books don't know exactly how these characters are defined yet. So sometimes there are things in here that aren't really honest to the show, like they don't really track. And I'm just hoping as the show has been on longer, the books will reflect the show a little bit better, if that makes sense. So really looking forward to more Buffy. Back to comic books. I talked about Swamp Thing. Now as of this recording, I've got 50. I'm up to Swamp Thing number 50 of the Alan Moore run. He stays on, I think, for another 14 issues. Is it like, does he end at 64? No, I think he maybe ends at 67. So that'll be 17 more Saturdays, from this point forward. But once that's done, I don't know if I'm going to do it on the channel, but I just need to do this in general. I need to read Rick Veitch's Swamp Thing run, which is where Alan Moore stops writing the series and Rick Veitch starts. Rick Veitch is doing the art for the end of Moore's run, and then he takes over writing duties and art duties along with Alfredo Alcala. And I've never read Rick Veitch's run before. Rick Veitch is one of my favorite cartoonists, but his Swamp Thing run has never been collected in trade paperback, as far as I know. But this past year, I was able to collect his entire run just in single issues. So I've been putting off reading it because I want to finish the Alan Moore run and then just go directly into the Rick Veitch one. Now, like I said, I don't know if I'm going to continue Swamp Thing Saturdays on the channel with the Veitch books because I haven't read them yet. I don't know. Like, I'm sure they're good, but I don't know if they're worth like the content. If you guys are interested in that, let me know. Because they are hard to find. They're not. There's no paperback. There's no collection of it right now. So maybe it will be a good way to just like make it publicly available. Who knows? But I'm looking forward to reading the Veitch run. Now, a stretch goal for this is after the Veitch run is reading the Doug Wheeler run and then the Nancy Collins run. I need to collect the other Doug Wheeler books. He's another one that those books aren't in a collected paperback or hardcover right now. The Nancy Collins stuff is. I have the Nancy Collins omnibus, but again, I have to wait until I've read the Veitch and then read the Wheeler so that I know I have the full continuity going forward. So a lot of Swamp Thing stuff to accomplish next year. But the really, really big goal that I have set for myself, and this more than anything is going to be the one that might lead to the decrease in just the amount of content that I'm able to do here because it's going to slow my reading down, or it might. I want to reread The Wheel of Time. I finished The Wheel of Time in October of 2021. It was my first time reading it. I started it in October 2019. But that's a 2 year span. But I took like a year break in the middle of that because I just like honestly it was the pandemic like messed me up in terms of reading. As soon as I finished it, I was like, I need a little bit of a break, but I really want to reread it. Like already, I wanted to reread it. And it's been 3 years. Uh, no, it will have been 3 years, 2 years, 2.5 years. Well, no, October 2021. 22, 23. So it'll be just over 2 years since I had finished the series. And even though the Prime show like wasn't very good, particularly the first season, although season two was a lot better. Season two was pretty good actually, but it's not the same as the series. It put me in the mood for it. Like it made me want to revisit this world and these characters so strongly that I decided for 2024 this is going to be the way to go. I'll probably make videos about each of these books as I go through. I don't know how quickly I'm going to be able to do it because these were all really long, dense books. And I know that if I try to just power through all of them, I'm going to get burned out. Um, so what might end up happening is reading one Wheel of Time book a month, and then peppering in, the shorter Buffy books, filling in an Expanse book that I have to read, as well as keeping up with the rest of the stuff on my bookshelf, which is ever growing. So it's going to be really ambitious, I think. To tackle a series like this when you have a channel that is dependent on you being able to put out content, I might be slowing down the content. So just be aware of that. We'll see. Maybe it won't have an effect at all. Maybe my reading has gotten so good that I'll be able to get through these really quickly, and it won't affect the channel at all. But just keep that in mind. And I'm really hoping that on this second time around in the Wheel of Time, I catch all of the things earlier on that I missed the first time around because I didn't know that they were important. So yeah, those are my goals for 2024. I would love to hear what your goals are for the year. And in general, I am very satisfied with what I did in 2023. My goals were very amorphous and ever changing, but I'm really satisfied with how the year went. This is what I might try to do this next year coming. Thank you very much for spending some time with me today. But now it's time to get back to reading.